Now let's look at heap files versus sorted files. Now the top example is a heap file, and in these simple visualizations we're going to not have tuples, we're just going to have individual values. Or you can think of this as a table with one column, and that column is of type integer. And I'm showing each number here being a row in that table. So in the heap file we have 2 values per page. This is a very small database just for visual illustration. So the first page in this heap file has the value 2 and the value 5. The next is the value 1 and the value 6, and so on. And you can see that this heap file is not in any particular order. The sorted file, by contrast, is going to be kept in order by some column. Since this table only has one column, it's going to be sorted by the values in that column. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And emphasizing again, for illustration, these records are just integers. Now, simple stuff here. We're going to assume that B in this picture, the number of data blocks is 5. And R, and this is not realistic in the real world, R in this case is 2, right? 2 records per block. And the average time to read a disk block, let's assume, is 5 milliseconds. So now we're ready to start by looking at the first row of our cost table, the cost to scan all the records in a file. And we'll look at this for both heap files and sorted files. Recalling that B, the number of data blocks, is 5, R, the number of records per block, is 2, and the average time to read or write a disk block is D, which we'll call 5 milliseconds. Okay, before we calculate this, let's just get some intuition on how this works. So if we need to scan all the records in a heap file, pretty directly what we're going to do is we're just going to read each block of the file in order. So we're going to scan through all the blocks. For a sorted file, the fact that the records are sorted doesn't really change anything. We still need to scan through all the blocks. And so these basically have the same file access pattern and will cost the same. So the number of pages they touch, obviously, is B, and the time to read a page is D. And so the cost for this whole thing is B times D for both heap files and sorted files. It's the number of data blocks times the average cost to read or write a data block. So that's very simple.